Hello everyone, my name is Akshay. Today our topic is Forward to the 2004 edition. The world has changed dramatically since the 7 habits of highly effectively people was first published. Life is more complex, more stressful, more demanding. We have transitions from the industrial age into the informational knowledge worker age with all of its profound consequences. We face changes and problems in our personal lives, our families, and our organizations. Unimeg even 1 and 2 decades ago. These challenges are not only of a new order of magnitude, they are together different in kind. These sweeping changes in society and rumbling shifts in the decided global marketplace give rise to a very important questions. One I am asked fairly often: are the 7 habits of highly effectively people still relevant today? And for the matter, will they be relevant 10, 20, 50, 100 years from now? My answer: the greater the change and more difficult our challenges, the more relevant the habits become. The reason our problems and pain are universal and increasing, and the solution to the problem are and always will be based upon universal, timeless, self evident principles common to every enduring proposing society throughout history. I did not invent them and take no credit for them. We simply identified and organized them into a sequential framework. One of the most profound learnings of my life is this: if you want to achieve your highest aspirations and overcome your greatest challenges, identify and apply the principles or natural law that governs the result you seek. How we apply a principle will vary greatly and will be determined by our unique strengths, talents, and creativity. But ultimately, success in any endeavor is always derived from acting in harmony with the principles to which the success is tied. Many people do not think this way, at least consciously. In fact, you will increasingly find the principled solution stands in stark contrast to the common practice and thinking of our popular culture. Allow me to this contrasts with a few of the most common human challenges we face: fear and insecurity. So many people today are gripped with a sense of fear. They fear for the future, they feel in the workplace, they are afraid of losing their jobs and their ability to provide for their families. This often fosters a resistance to riskless less living and to codependency with others at work and at home. Our culture's common response to this problem is to become more and more independent. I am going to focus on me and mine. I'll do my job, do it well, and get on to my real joys of the job. Independence is an important, even virtual value and achievement. The problem is we live in an interdependent reality, and our most important accomplishments require interdependency skills well beyond our present abilities. I want it now. People want things and want them now. I want money. I want a nice big house, a nice car, the biggest and best entertainment center. I want it all and I deserve it through today's credit card society makes it easy to get now and pay later. Economic realities eventually set in and we are reminded sometimes painfully that our purchases cannot outstrip our ongoing ability to produce. Pretending otherwise is the demands of interest are unrealizing and unforgiving. Even working hard is not enough with the designing rate of change in technology and increasing complacency driven by the globalizations of markets and technology. We must not only be educated, we must commonly consciously educate and reinvent ourselves. We must develop our minds and consciously sharpen and invest in the development of our competencies to avoid becoming obsolete at work. The bosses drive result, and for good reason. Competitions is fierce, survival is at stake. The need to produce today is today's reality and represented the demands of capital, but the real mantra of success is is and growth. You may be able to meet your quietly numbers, but the real question is, are you making the necessary investment that will sustain and increase that success 1, 5, and 10 years from now? Our culture and Wall Street scream for result today, but the principle of balancing the need to meet today's demands with the need to invest in the capability that will produce tomorrow's success is unavoidable. The same is true of your health, your marriage, your family relationship, and your community needs. Blame and victims. Whenever you find a problem, you will usually find a finger pointing of blame. Society is dedicated to playing the victim. If only my boss was not such as controlling idiot. If only I hadn't been born so poor. If only I lived in to better place. If only I hadn't inherited such as a temper from my dad. If only my kites weren't so revolutions. If only the other department did not miss up orders all the time. If only we were not in such declaring industries. If only our people were not so lazy and without drive. If only my life was more understanding. If only blaming everywhere and everything else for our problems and changes may be the norm and may provide temporary relief from the pain, but it also changes us to this very problem. So me someone who is human enough so accept and take responsibility for his or her and enough to take whatever activity is necessary to creativity work his or her way through or around these challenges and he'll show you the supreme power of choice. Hopeless hopelessness. The children of blame are cynicism and hopelessness when we scoop to believing that we are victims of our circumstances and yield to the plate of determinism. We lose hope, we lose drive, and we settle into registrations and stagnations. I am a pawn, a puppet, a cog in the wheel, and can do nothing about it. Just tell me what to do. So many bright, talented people feel this and suffer the broad range of discover argument and depressions that follows the survival response of popular culture is significance. Just lower your expectations of life to the point that you are not disappointed by anyone or anything. The contrasting principle of growth and hope throughout history is the discovery that I am the creativity force of my life. Lack of the life balance. Life in our cell phone society is increasingly complex, demanding, stressful, and absolutely exhausting for all our efforts to manage our time, do more, be more, and achieve greater efficiency through the wonderness of modern teach. Why is it we increasingly find ourselves in the think of thin things, health, family, integrity, and money of the things that matter most to our work? The problem is not our work, which is the sustains engine of life. It's not the complexity or change. The problem is that our modern culture says go in early, stay later, be more efficient, live with the sacrifice for now. But the truth is that balance and peace of mind are not produced by this, they follow the person who develops a clear sense of his or her highest priorities and who lives with focus and integrity towards them. What's in it for me? Our culture teaches us that if we want something in life, we have to look out for number one. It says life is a game, a race, a competitions, and you better win it. Schoolmates, work challenges, even family members are seen as competitions, and you better win it. Schoolmates, work colleges, even family members are seen as competitors. The more they win, the less there is for you. Of course, we try to appear generous and cheer for other success, but inwardly, privately, so many of us are eating our hearts over when others achieve. Many of the great things in the history of our civilizations have been achieved by the independent will of a determined soul, but the greatest opportunities and boundless accomplishments of the knowledge worker age are reversed for those who master the art of it. True greatness will be achieved through the aboutnet mind, the works selfless with mutual respect for mutual benefit, the hunger to be understood. Few needs of the human heart are greater than the need to be understood, to have a voice that is heard, respected, and valued, to have influence. Most believe that the key to influence is communication, getting your point across clearly and speaking persuasive. In fact, if you think about it, don't you find that while others are speaking to you instead of really listening to understand, you are often busy preparing your response? The real beginning of influence comes others, since you are blessing influenced by them when they feel understood by you, that you have listened deeply and sincerely, and that you are open. But most people are too emotionally to listen deeply, to suspend their agenda long enough to focus on understanding before they communicate. their one ideas. Our cultures cries out for even demands understanding and influence. However, the principle of influence is governed by mutual understanding or of the communicate of at least one person to deep listening first. Confluence and differences. People share so much in common, yet are so magnificent different. They think differently. They have different and sometimes competing values, motivations, and objectives. Conflicts naturally arise out of these different societies. Competition's approach to resolving the conflict and difference tends to center on winning as much as you can. Too much good has come from the skillful art from compromise where both sides give on their positions until an equitable middle point is reached. Neither side ends up truly placed. What a waste to have difference drive people to the lowest common denominator between them. What a waste to fail to unleash the principle of creativity, cooperations in deplo- deploying solutions to problems that are better than either party's original notions. Personal stagnations. Human nature is focused, dimensional body, mind, heart, and spirit. Consider the difference and fruits of the two approaches. Body, culture, technology, maintaining lifestyle, treat health problems with surgery and meditations. Principle prevent discuss and problems by aligning lifestyle to be in harmony with established universally accepted principle of health. Mind, culture, watch, televisions, entertain me. Principles read broadly and deeply. Constitutions, educations, heart. Culture use relationship with others to forward your personal selfish interests. Principle deep, respectful listening and surveying other brings grateful fulfillment and joy. Spirit. Cultures cube to growing secularisms and significance. Principle recognize that the source of our basic need for meaning and of the positions thing we seek in life is principle which natural laws I personally believe have their source in God. I invite you to keep both these universal challenges and your own unique needs and challenges in mind. As you do, you will find enduring solution and directions. You will also find the contrasts between the popular culture's approach and the timeless principle approaches of the ages will become more and more evident. On a final personal note, I want to repeat a question I consistently pose in my teaching. How many on their deathbeds wished they'd spent more time at the office or watching TV? The answer is no one. They think about their loved ones, their families, and those they have served. Even the great psychologist Abraham Maslow, at the end of his life, put the happiness and fulfillment and contributions of his posterity ahead of his self actualizations, the top need of his famous need hierarchy. He called it self transcendence. This is so true with me. By far the greatest and most satisfying impact of the principle embodied in the seven habits comes out of the lives of my children and grandchildren. For example, my 19-year-old granddaughter Shannon was drawn to serve the orphans or Romeo and wrote Sandra and me of an epiphany. One day, after a little sleek chill threw up on her and then reached out for a hug. In that moment, Shannon inwardly resolved, I don't want to live a selfish life anymore. I must spend my life in service. As of this writing, he has returned to Romania and is still serving the people. All of our children are married and with their spouses have development principle based mission statement focused on services. To see them live these mission statements gives us joy in our posterities. As you now commence reading The Seven Habits of Highly Effectively People, I also promise you an exciting learning adventure. Share with your loved ones what you are learning, and most important, start applying what you are learning. Remember to learn and not to do is really not to learn to now, and not to do is really not to now. I have personally found living the seven habit a constantly struggling, primarily because the better you get, the very nature of the challenge challenges, just like skilling playing golf, tennis, or any sport does, because I secretly work and struggle every day at living these principle abundant habits. I warmly join you in this adventure. Inside Out. There is a no real explanations in all this world which can be separated from right living. David Starr Jordan. In more than 25 years of working with people in business, university, and married and family settings, I have come in contact with many individuals who have achieved an incredible degree of outward success but have found themselves struggling with an inner hunger, a deep need for personal configurations and efficiency, and for healthy, growing relationships with other people. I suspect some of the problems they have shared with me may be familiar to you. I will set and meet my career goals, and I am having tremendous professional success, but it's cost me my personal and family life. I don't know my wife and children anymore. I am not even sure I know myself and what's really important to me. I we had to ask myself, is it worth it? I we started a new diet for the 15th time in this year. I know I am overweight and I really want to change. I read all the new informations. I set goals. I get myself all pieces of within a position's mental attitude and tell myself I can do it, but I don't. After a few weeks, I fuzzles. I just can't seem to keep a promise I make to myself. I will taken course after course on efficiency management training. I accepted a lot out of my employees and I work hard to be friendly towards them and to treat them right, but I don't feel any loyalty from them. I think if I were homesick for a day, they'd spend most of their time giving at the water foundations. Why can't I train them to be independent and responsible, or found employees who can be? My terminal son is rebellious and wants drugs. No matter why I try, he wants listens to me. What can I do? There's so much to do and there's never enough time. I feel pressured and hesitate all day, every day, 7 days a week. I will attend time management seminars and I will tried half a dozen different planning system. They will help some, but I still don't feel I am living the happy, productive, peaceful life I want to live. I want to teach my children the value of work, but to get them do anything, I have to surprise every move and put up with compiling every step. of the way. It's so much easier to do it myself. Why can't children do their work cheerfully and without being reminded? I am busy, really busy, but sometimes I wonder if what I am doing will make any difference in the long run. I'd really like to think there was meaning in my life, that some things were different because I was here. I see my friends or relatives achieve some degree of success or receive some recognitions, and I smile and congratulate them enthusiastically, but inside I am eating my heart out. Why do I feel this way? I have a forceful personality. I know in almost any interactions I can control the outcome most of the time. I can even do it by influencing others to come up with the solution I want. I think through each solutions, and I really feel the ideas I come up with are usually the best for everyone, but I feel uneasy. I always wonder what other people really think of me and my ideas. My marriage has gone flat. We don't fight or anything. We just don't love each other anymore. We gone to consultations. We tried a number of things, but we just can't seem to rekindle the feeling we used to have. These are deep problems, painful problems, problems that quick fix approaches can solve. A few years ago, my wife Sandra and I were struggling with his kind of concern. One of our sons was having a very difficult time in school. He was doing poorly academic. He didn't even know how to follow the instructions on the test, let alone do well on them socially. He was immature, often embracing those closets. To him, Atlantic, he was smile, skinny, and uncoordinated, sweeping his baseball bat, for example, almost before the ball was even pitched, otherwise would laugh at him. Sandra and I were considered with her desire to help him. We felt that if success were important in any area of life, is it was supremely important in our role as parents. So we worked on our attitudes and behavior towards him, and we tried to work on his. We attempt to psych him up using positive mental attitude technologies. Come on, some you can do it. We know you can put your hands a little higher on the bat and keep your eye on the ball. Don't swing till it gets close to you. And if he did a little better, we would go to great lengths to reinforce him. That's good, son. Keep it up. When others laughed, we reprimanded them. Leave him alone. Get off his back. He just learning. And our son would cry and insist that he'd never be any good and that he didn't like baseball anyway. Nothing we did seemed to help, and we were really worried. We could see the effect this was having on his self-esteem. We tried to be encouraging and helpful and positive, but afraid repeated failure, we finally drove back and tried to look at the situations on a different level. At this time in my professional role, I was involved in leadership development work with various clients through the country. In the capacity, I was preparing monthly progress on the subject of communications and perceptions for IBM's execution developments program parti- participants. As I researched and prepared these presentations, I become particular increased in hope. Exceptions are formed how they govern we see, and how the way we see governors how we behave. This led me to a study of extension theory and self-fulfilling prophecies, or the Pygmalion Ephesians, and to a realization of how deeply embodied our perceptions are. It taught me that we must look at the lens through which we see the words as well as at the world we see, and that the lens itself shapes how we interpret the world.